Hey everyone, Eva Thompson here, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about retroactive jealousy and how to overcome it. So for those of you who don't know what retroactive jealousy is, it is when you get intrusive thoughts about your partner's sexual and or romantic history. So whether it's about past relationships they've been in or sexual encounters that they've had, if it's interfering with your everyday or weekly life and it's getting in the way of your happiness and your mental and emotional well-being, then you might find that you have retroactive jealousy. So I wanted to talk a bit about first why the thoughts quote-unquote stick with RJ, because the thing is, as human beings, we have millions of thoughts. We think millions of thoughts a day, but thoughts that stick are thoughts that are quote-unquote emotionally charged thoughts. So just like when you're happy about something or you're excited about something or you're looking forward to it, you will find yourself thinking about that thought, whatever it is, a lot. It's the same with negative thoughts. If a thought is emotionally charged, whether negatively or positively, your mind's going to think that that thought is important. Therefore, it's going to keep bringing it back over and over again. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind your thoughts. And instead of trying to control the thought, try and control your emotional reaction to the thought. And I'm going to be getting into that a bit later. So I just want to touch on how RJ is not at all a logical or a conscious decision of yours. You're not making the conscious decision every day to think about your partner's past over and over again. It's not something that you're consciously doing. RJ is 100% emotional. It's all to do with the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is a lot stronger. It's got a lot more power over the conscious mind. Your emotions will always overpower logic. It's like, for example, when someone is afraid of flying, you know consciously that flying is one of the safest way to travel. However, if you've got images in your head of the plane going down, if you've got subconsciously beliefs about not feeling safe when you're not in control, or fear of dying even, those are all rooted in your subconscious. Those are all gonna come up and the emotion is gonna overpower the logical knowing that the plane is safe, for example. That's just an example to give you a bit of a understanding of how emotion really is powerful than logic, and how you're not crazy because you're thinking of the past over and over again. You're not consciously doing it. You're not choosing to do it every day. It's just these thoughts keep coming back because they're so emotionally charged, and therefore you are finding yourself in this situation. So what I would recommend for overcoming RJ is looking into why in the first place you are emotionally reacting so intensely to these thoughts. Try and dig deep by writing down the meaning that you've attached to the thoughts. So for example, if you are upset that your boyfriend has been in love before, I want you to write that down and I want you to think to yourself, what does that mean about me? What meaning have I attached to it? And you can do this with using the word "and" at the end of every sentence. So you'd say, okay, so my boyfriend has been in other relationships before, and then your mind will respond and it will be like, well, and that must mean that they were better than you. And then you're going to say, okay, so they were better than me, and then you fill that in and you really write that down and get to the root of it, and you'll see what the attachment is, what the subconscious underlying belief is. The reason that the thoughts about your partner's past have stuck specifically for you is because of the meaning that you've attached to it. The meaning that you've attached to it then determines the emotions, the strong emotions of anxiety and frustration, and then those emotions cause the thoughts to keep coming back. So the root of it is looking at the meaning that you've attached to the thoughts. And when I say the meaning you've attached to the thoughts, I don't mean about other people, about your partner. I mean the meaning that you've attached to it in regards to you. What does it mean about you? Why do you feel threatened? Why does it upset you so much? And some common reasons are not wanting to be compared because you're afraid you're not going to be special, not feeling good enough in some area in their relationship and always wanting to be better or doing new things and constantly comparing yourself to the past, of people in their past, wanting to be in control. And another thing that I have really noticed, and this is more with men, is worrying about what other men will think or say if they find out that their wife or girlfriend has had other encounters with other people in the past. Because of how society perceives women and because of the beliefs that whatever people have about women when they have multiple partners, it's tricky for men when they have RJ because somewhere in their mind, in my experience, they're worried about what men are going to say. So they're worried that they're going to be a less respected man, or they're going to be laughable if the other men find out that their wife or girlfriend has slept with, say, lots of people, for example. So that's just something I've noticed mostly with men, not so much with women, because there's not that same notion in society that when a man sleeps around, he's less than. It's more for women. Realistically speaking, that's just the way it is. So I've realized and I've noticed with men that they're afraid that they're going to not be a respected man, or they're laughable, or they're going to be made fun of, because they know how other men think, and they're afraid that they're going to think that about their significant other, if that makes sense. Now, this might not resonate with you if you are a man, but I'm just talking about my experience with my clients, and if it does resonate with you, just know that you're not alone and you can overcome it. So the first thing I'd recommend for overcoming retroactive jealousy is getting to the root of what meaning you've attached to the thoughts. Because the thing is, when you get to the meaning, like I said before, you'll then be able to figure out why the emotional reaction is so strong, which then determines the thought coming back. And the thoughts coming back also pile up more emotion. So you've got the subconscious reaction and the conscious reaction. So you've got the thoughts coming into your mind. Subconsciously, you've attached some meaning to them, which causes an emotional reaction. That emotional reaction keeps the thoughts coming, and then you've got the conscious reactions that you have every day of anxiety, frustration, anger, fear, sadness on top of that. So see how it's quite layered, and you need to start unpicking their layers. And I'd really recommend journaling. I'd really recommend writing these things down, because your subconscious is more open and you can kind of figure things out differently when you write stuff down than if you just think consciously to yourself and you think that you figured it out. Write it down. Take that step, write it down, see what you discover. It's all about self-discovery at the end of the day. It's not just overcoming RJ, like I said in other videos, is not just about getting rid of the thoughts. It's about looking at your beliefs, looking at your belief system. Very rarely, in my experience, does the RJ have to do with the sufferer's actual partner. It's almost always to do with their childhood or their past trauma, past relationships, wanting to be in control, things like that. So it really is a blessing in disguise, and it really can lead to deep, deep healing if you allow it to. The second thing that helped me in overcoming RJ is taking my partner off the pedestal. So a lot of the time we meet someone and we hold them up here. We hold them even above ourselves. We make them our angel, our savior, and especially when we first start seeing them, we kind of have this image of who we think they are / who we want them to be, and we put them on a pedestal. And then the more they open up and the more they talk to us about their past, and the more we catch feelings for them, and the more we feel we are more emotionally involved with them, the more this image is kind of shattered, especially when they tell us things that we didn't expect or we didn't want to hear. Because this angel, this savior, this perfect person that they were meant to be, that we wanted them so desperately to be, they're not that. And you realize that, and you start getting angry, and you start getting frustrated, and you start feeling resentful. So in a relationship where one of the two people are placed on a pedestal and unrealistic expectations are put on them, that relationship is a very fragile relationship. You're constantly worried about something that they might say or they might do that is going to force you to, that is going to make that image of the angel that you had in your head shatter even more and break even more. That's going to upset you because you so desperately want them to be someone that they're just not at the end of the day. At the end of the day, they're not the person or that angel that you so desperately want them to be, and that's fine. Because what I've discovered and what I'll tell you is that it's a lot better, and the relationship is a lot more stable and less fragile when you change your perspective and you think of it as two human beings that have made mistakes, not because there's anything wrong with them, but because they've meant to make mistakes. Human beings are meant to make mistakes. It's not a bad thing. It's literally part of life. And if you use those mistakes to become a better person, then even better. But when you adopt this mindset of, I'm a human being and they're a human being, we've been through things, we've changed, we've evolved, we're not the same people anymore. And now we choose to come together to build something and to grow together. And that's fine. That's beautiful. There is so much peace to be found in accepting, and I know it sounds silly, but in accepting that they're a human being and not putting them on a pedestal, not making them your savior, not making them your angel that's going to come and save you and they need to be this pure, that's just not it. And it's like I said, if you adopt that perspective, the relationship becomes very, very fragile because at the end of the day, it's not who they are. But when you understand that you're a human being, they're a human being, you've made mistakes, you're coming together, you've changed, it really changes everything. And something that I would actually like to add to this, and I think I've made another video about it, but I'm going to say it again, is that 2 concepts to help you with this is 300 million cells in your body are dying every minute of every single day. So physically, cells are dying and new ones are being reborn, 300 million a minute. And then also on a conscious level, you need to remember that you're not the same person that you were a week ago. You're not the same person that you were a year ago, because you have conversations, you watch videos, you read, you research, and your perspective changes. You evolve physically because 300 million cells in your body are dying and being reborn, and also mentally you're changing. You're not the same person. You're figuring things out. Your perspective is shifting. You're learning new things, So mentally you're not the same person you were a week ago, even a year ago, and physically you aren't the same either, because cells are constantly being reborn and old ones are dying. It's exactly the same for your partner. So they're not that person anymore. At the end of the day, the person that you are imagining every day that your partner used to be doesn't exist anymore. They literally probably physically don't exist anymore because all the cells are being renewed every second of every day, and mentally they're definitely not the same person that they used to be as well. So guys, that was it for today's video. Please let me know if you've got any further questions. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I will see you next time.